So this morning, I was just touching upon quickly, briefly, that I'm about to get my period. And I just love that there are so many women sharing and telling us the story now of how this all works. That women basically were going through a whole year of transformation within a month. Like every single month we do this. We have spring, summer, fall, winter. So winter is basically our period itself. Our period itself, I keep looking at the wrong place. Our period itself is the winter. Hold on, is it? Yeah, that's what they say. And then right after winter, we experience spring. So, we're starting a new cycle. Is that the follicular phase? I forget the name. Anyway, and then we go into summer. Everything is awesome and beautiful and great and blossoming. And then we go into fall and we just kind of feel cold and just want to cozy up, which is our premenstrual cycle. And I love that I'm seeing more and more women talk about how we actually are truly powerhouses of so much knowledge and wisdom within. Our bodies are then showing us everything. It's just bringing up everything, which is what we call PMS. It's bringing up everything for you that needs clearing or needs to shed. And I just love the fact that I had the feeling, and I saw this pattern years ago, and a few years after I saw the first doctor, female doctor, talk about this, like we have this window of opportunity. So it's showing us. And right now, before, like a couple of days ago, I was just experiencing so much stuff and I had no clue that my period was coming because I just really wasn't paying attention to how many days, and it just felt not really logical at the time. So I was like, oh my gosh, wait, hold on. I need to check. Like, am I actually in my premenstrual phase? And I checked, and it said, although it didn't arrive yesterday, which it said, but it said it was, in 2 days, your period is in 2 days. I was like, okay, that's what's going on. And it's just a beautiful thing to know that whatever's coming up is there for a reason. It's showing us how we can release what we no longer need in our lives. And it's really going to keep going, and it's going to keep doing it until we shed, right? So the beautiful thing here is that I realized I do journal a lot. I do sit in meditation and shed and heal and light and whatever you want to call it, and release and I release and I feel and I release. I do that a lot. And I have ever since, a few years after I started my coaching. The coaching basically just took me into my spiritual healing, right? My spiritual journey. And I don't know what that was. So anyway, I just found it really awesome that it felt so right to all of a sudden, like, I'm going to do the coaching on myself now. Like, I'm going to do it this time, because I've said multiple times, like, I could just put on one of my videos and be my own client, sort of like I could just do my own stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I can. But it's like, since I know this stuff, it's almost like I do it intuitively all day, every day anyway. So I don't really feel like, well, whatever. I don't know why I don't take it seriously enough, but now I did. I did. And I started this huge shedding cycle, which is what this health coach process is. And yesterday, during the healing session, or during the coaching, self-coaching sort of process, 3 times I stopped and I went into a sort of a meditation, healing, shedding, clearing thing for myself, which was just absolutely amazing. I even brought out my, I think I shared this yesterday, but I brought out my homemade sage and lavender stick. I burnt and I did the whole thing like 3 times. So it's just very in line with following and using our cycles for the good of humanity, really, because whatever is good for us is the best for humanity. That's just inevitable, right? So that's what I wanted to say. Okay, I'm going to finish this now. And it was also fun, by the way. I wanted to say quickly that yesterday I felt not yesterday, these last few days, I've kind of felt like, oh, there's chaos. Like I'm behind on everything when it comes to housework, chores, and also having the situation that I do. There's a lot of stuff that happen all the time. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be handled all the time, right? There's, what do we call it? Unforeseen, like things that, oh, now we have to deal with some pee and some this and that, you know, just stuff. Things break and things have to be cleaned and washed. And it's more than most would want to happen every single day. That's why this process is obviously, it's hard being a parent. There's a lot of work, and our house is not the biggest, so it needs to be kept clean. I won't. I can, but I don't want to. I don't want to live in a mess. I don't want to. It doesn't vibe well with me to live in a mess. And to just like, I see a lot of people like, lower your shoulders, be gentler with yourself. It's okay if it's messy. And I agree. Of course, we need to lower our shoulders and not be mean to ourselves about it. But honestly, honoring myself, for me, it's in every layer of who I am. To me, it is in every single layer. So my circumstances is my responsibility. I like my circumstances beautiful and clean and tidy. And I'll do the same with my physical body to the extent of my awareness as much as I can, you know, as good as I can. And I'll do the same with my mind, and I'll do the same with my emotions. I'll do it on every single level. Like I'm sorry, you can tell me as much as you want that we need to learn to accept mess and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, of course, I'm not going to hate myself for living in a mess. And that's my point. I had a few days now where it was kind of overwhelming at one point. And old me would have maybe lashed out and gotten like, oh, it's so messy. And it's just, I can't handle the chaos when I feel like this. And I'm behind on everything. I've felt exhausted. I felt drained, you know. So I just managed to come into a more self-loving place of, okay, I'll just do what feels right, and I'll keep moving slowly. I'm not going to hurry or stress myself or hate myself for it not being perfect yet. I'm just going to keep going and do what I feel like when I feel like it, not leaving the obvious, you know, like I'm not leaving the dishes or whatever, but just not pushing myself in a negative way. You know what happens is I all of a sudden get the energy to do it. Even last night, which would have been very, very unnormal for me to get like a boost of energy sort of almost at night when I'm usually just exhausted and will just avoid doing anything at all cost. But I did. So I was able to get a bunch of stuff done yesterday, and this morning I did a bunch of stuff, and it just felt right. So the point is, of course, we're not going to just leave it. But also utilize the energy when it comes, and trust that it will come when it's meant to. And also, of course, be honest with yourself. Anyway, I have a lot to say, and I'm going to post these, even if it's just me rambling on 16 pages front and back about my life, because I feel called to. It feels right. It feels like this is what I want to. And I've talked about it several times. I've just struggled to, what is that? I've struggled to, I'm sorry, I forgot the word. I saw a thing and I was curious. Pull through or do it. Actually do it. All right.